I always believed that trust was the foundation of marriage. For years, I convinced myself that my wife, Claire, and I were solid. That even when life got busy, when work drained us both, our bond would hold. But lately, something had changed. She grew distant, secretive, her phone glued to her hand as if it contained state secrets. Whenever I'd ask what was wrong, she'd brush me off with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. One evening, she stood by the front door, dressed a little too carefully for what she claimed was a quick outing. A faint perfume lingered in the air, one I hadn't smelled in months, and it wasn't for me. She slipped on her shoes, avoiding my gaze. "I won't be long," she said lightly, like it was the most casual thing in the world. But her words didn't soothe me. They sliced through me like a blade, because deep down, I already knew the truth. She wasn't heading out for groceries, or to meet a friend, or to clear her mind. She was meeting him, the man she thought I didn't know about. I forced myself to stay calm, to keep my voice steady. "No need to hurry," I said, watching her freeze at the doorway. "There's nothing left for you here." She turned, eyes wide, face pale. The certainty in my tone left no room for denial. For the first time, she looked cornered, caught. The silence stretched between us, heavy and unbearable. I didn't flinch. I wanted her to see that I wasn't the naive, blind husband she thought she could deceive. Inside, my heart was breaking, but I wouldn't give her the satisfaction of seeing me crumble. She had already taken my trust. I refused to let her take my dignity too. Claire opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. Her excuses, her stories, her carefully spun lies, all of them had finally run out. And in that moment, I realized something. The marriage I had been clinging to no longer existed. Her lips trembled as if she wanted to argue, but the truth was etched all over her face. She didn't deny it. She didn't even try. That hurt more than any confession could have. Because her silence was an admission, louder than any words. I leaned back against the wall, crossing my arms. "How long, Claire? How long have you been slipping away from me?" Her eyes flickered, restless, darting toward the floor. Finally, she muttered, "It's not what you think." I let out a bitter laugh. That line is older than our marriage. If it wasn't what I think, you wouldn't look so guilty right now. She sank onto the couch, her shoulders slumping. For a moment, she looked small, almost fragile, but I couldn't let pity cloud what I knew. Months of late nights, of vague explanations, of her choosing her phone over conversations with me. It all painted a picture too clear to ignore. "You don't understand," she whispered. "No, Claire. I understand perfectly. You were bored. You wanted excitement. You wanted someone new. And instead of facing me like an adult, you chose to lie, to pretend this house was still a home." Her hands twisted together nervously. "I never meant to hurt you." I shook my head, anger flaring inside me. "That's the thing. You didn't care whether you hurt me or not. Every night you walked through this door after being with him, you looked me in the eye and acted like everything was fine. That's not just betrayal, Claire, that's cruelty." Tears finally spilled down her cheeks, but they didn't move me. I had spent too many nights aching, wondering why I wasn't enough, questioning myself when the problem had never been me. I stood, my voice calm but final. "I begged you to choose us, Claire. I begged you to be honest. And now you want me to understand? No. The only thing I understand is that the woman I married is gone." She reached for me, but I stepped back. "Don't," I said firmly. "Save your apologies for someone who still believes them." The room felt colder than ever, the silence broken only by her muffled sobs. Once, I would have rushed to comfort her, to hold her, to promise that we could work through anything. But that man died the moment she chose someone else over me. I walked to the bedroom and pulled a suitcase from the closet. The sound of the zipper echoed like a verdict. She followed me, panic rising in her voice. "What are you doing?" "Packing my life," I answered simply. Her hands trembled as she reached for my arm. "Please don't do this. We can fix it." I turned to face her, my expression steady. "Fix what, Claire? You shattered us the second you decided another man was worth more of your time than your husband. You didn't just break our vows, you burned them." She tried again, voice cracking. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. I placed a shirt into the suitcase, folded with deliberate calm. No, you knew exactly what you wanted. You just didn't expect to lose what you already had in the process. Her face crumpled, but I refused to let her tears sway me. For too long, I had sacrificed my own happiness, convincing myself that love meant endurance. But love without respect is just a prison, and I was done being the prisoner. When I zipped the bag shut, the sound was final, like a door closing. I carried it to the front door, pausing only once. You told me you wouldn't be long. And I told you the truth. There's nothing left for you here. You made sure of that. She stood frozen, speechless, as I stepped outside. The night air hit me with a strange clarity, cool, sharp, freeing. For the first time in months, maybe years, I could breathe. I didn't know where the road ahead would take me, but I knew one thing with certainty. I would no longer live in a house where loyalty was optional and love was conditional. Claire had chosen deceit. I chose freedom. And as the door clicked shut behind me, I realized I hadn't lost everything. I had lost her. And that, finally, was no loss at all.